Hello there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to the Trinity Stamps YouTube channel. Today I have a sneak peek video for you with some new things coming out in the Greatest Friends release, including this cute Friends Are Flowers stamp set. The other new thing I'm showcasing is the die that created this embossed edged slimline panel, the white piece that I'm going to stamp on. It's from a brand new mini slimline die set. I'm going to stamp these flowers here from the first Bloom stamp set, also part of the new release. I'm clustering them together, stamping them in some yellow ink on both sides of this panel so that it can be a background for my card today. And you can see there I just had to remove that middle piece, and then I have a perfect background for my card. I'm going to add a little bit of black splatter to that to dress it up a little bit, and I'm going to mount this onto a pattern paper piece that is striped with black and white, so it would go really well with that. But I'm going to cover up most of this panel with my background, so I decided to take another of those rectangle dies from the new set and cut out the center that's just going to be covered anyway, and then I can use it for something else and don't feel like I'm wasting it. Next, I stamped this gnome and butterfly from the new Friends Are Flowers stamp set, and I'm going to color those up with my Copic markers. I have some Y markers for the center of this. I'm going with a daisy on this flower. You really could color it to look like anything or with any colors that you love. And then I'm also going to use those same yellows for my daffodil right here. So Y06 is my lightest, Y35 is my darkest color, and then the color I'm using to blend is Y17. So I'll just go back and forth with those colors until I get the look that I want for my daffodil. I think it's so pretty. And then also there's some images on here that are just like little circles. I'm not exactly sure what flower that is, but I'm kind of trying to stick with my yellow theme for this card, so I'm going to color those yellow as well. And then I have some G markers that I'm using for all the greenery, going back and forth between three different colors, the G19 I believe, G28, and G29. So I'm really trying to go with a very simple color palette, and so that's why I'm just playing with kind of the shades and tones of similar green markers for my greenery, keeping the flowers with the yellow and white. I will add a pop of color when it comes to the gnome and the butterfly though. So there I am finishing up the greenery. I sped that part up greatly so you could check it out, but I always think it's nice when you have a busy image like this to see how someone else colors it, because sometimes you're like, what is that little piece? And then when you see it colored, it makes sense that it's like a stem that goes with this. So I thought it was nice to just kind of keep that in there so you could get an idea of how to color out this cute little gnome image with all those fun flowers and foliage. So now for the beard, I'm starting with N2. This is going to be the darkest color I'm using, and I'm just kind of flicking in and drawing in some little lines that are kind of jagged a little bit to look like texture for the hair in his beard. I'm going to give the edge a little bit more color by shading that out, and then I'll bring in my N0 marker and do the same kind of flick lines for hair, and it's going to soften out the darker N2 lines that I made, and that really gives it a fun textured look for hair. For the gnome's hat, I'm starting with B16, and I'm bringing that in from the edge. This is actually the darker of the two colors I'm using, and I'm flicking that in towards the edge, and then I'll bring in my lighter, which is the B24, and bring that in even farther towards the center, giving it a center highlight, which helps it look more rounded. And then I'll color his little elbow and his pants and his bow that same blue, and then the butterfly got the same blue colors as well. Now for his skin, I am doing E11 and E13, and then for the shoes, I'm going to bring in E23 and add in that for my darkest color, and then my lightest color will be E13. So I try to reuse some of the same colors and just go lighter. So like the kind of the color of the shoes is the same tone as his skin, and that just helps it not look too busy. I added some shadowing around the gnome and the flowers with my BG10 marker and some highlights with my white gel roll pen. And then here you can see all the Copic markers I used to color out this image. I am now stamping and embossing the sentiment that came with this gnome. Friends are the flowers that make life beautiful. On some black cardstock, and then I'll die cut that out with the coordinating die as I did with the gnome and the butterfly. Now, the important thing to remember when gluing down your background to a frame of paper is to not put any adhesive in the center, which is very hard for me because, you know, I always do the glue hearts, so I had to be careful. So here's my gnome. I'm sticking him down with some foam squares at the bottom of this panel, and then my sentiment will go at the top. I just wanted to trim off that stem, was a little long there. And I'm going to put the sentiment diagonally because it's a little wide for a mini slimline card. And then I popped up the butterfly as well for an extra pop of blue. I thought it needed a little shimmer, so I'm going over that with my Wink of Stella and really coloring in the butterfly with it. But on the flowers, I'm just doing a little line here and there for like a little dusting of sparkle on them. To accentuate the butterfly even more, I'm actually going to bring in a glaze and cover that to make it really pop. And that will take some time to dry, but it adds so much. Just those little things really make your cards extra special, right? So this finished mini slimline card measures 6 by 3 inches. So you just take a 6 by 6 piece of paper, fold it in half. I like to crease mine first and then fold it in half, and that makes a mini slimline card. So that's the size I used today. And then here at the end, I wanted you to see I did make a mini slimline envelope to go with my card. There is a die set from Trinity Stamps that creates mini slimline envelopes. I love it. If you want to learn more about that, I'll put a link to a mini slimline video in the description box for you below so you can see how that is put together. All right, thank you so much for stopping by and checking out this sneak peek of new products coming out very soon on April 30th, 2021. If you're new to Trinity Stamps, feel free to subscribe and find us on Facebook and Instagram too. Happy stamping. Bye.